As you can see, everything slid nice and easy. That's what we wanted. Now I got all our lumber in here. All the hardware that we needed. I thought I had my plans in my pocket. Just to kind of show you what I drew up looking at other projects. Making a full on the bottom, twin on the top. They're eventually going to pull apart, make two beds. Bottom headboard and tailboard, footboard is going to be 35 inches tall. Top will be 35. We're going to make a little railing so that my granddaughter don't fall out, and then the ladder to go with it so she can get up there. Everything's going to be pretty heavy duty, made with 2x6s and 2x4s, and hopefully they enjoy it. I'm just going to leave it raw wood, but I'm going to sand it down, try and get those marks off the wood from the stamp, and let them paint it and do whatever they want with it. So I'll try to take some video and maybe some pictures, snap some pictures of the process of building this today. Thanks for watching, as always. Well, as Bob Ross would say, this would be a happy accident. My table that I built next to my chop saw stand is almost perfect height, so anything that I cut can just drop right on there, and I don't have to worry about it hitting the ground. So sometimes things do work out. Okay, we're back. We have 5 75-inch side rails, 2 for the lower, 2 for the upper, and 1 for the back to help give it some stability, as you can see there. That'll help keep the middle from trying to separate. Then we have our twin size end boards, I guess, for the headboard and the footboard, and then the full size headboard and footboard crossbars. Then I got a stack of little 2x2s that I cut to help put the stringers on to hold the slats on the 75-inch boards. So the next step is putting pocket holes in all of these here and all of these here. And then I just bought a jig to put these barrel nuts into the side of the long stringer boards, 2 of them, to help bolt that together. That way that'll give me the maximum strength without using screws. Plus it can be taken apart and moved a lot easier than screws, and they won't get wore out nearly as quick as just using straight up screws. So gonna do some more pictures of doing the pocket holes and see how that turns out. Alright, we're back. We got all of our pocket holes drilled in all of our crossbars, and I'll tell you what, not really sponsored by anybody, but if you've never owned one of these things or a variation of it, highly recommend it. These things are like a miracle tool. I love mine so much so that I actually went and bought, don't tell my wife, I bought a Craig Foreman, which is the big table version of it. That way I can kick out some cabinets a lot quicker than not having it. So yeah, I absolutely love the pocket jig. I just happen to have Craig, but there's other brands out there. You can make your own determination on what you want. Right now, as it stands, in order for me to mount my stringer brackets on so that my slats can go across there, I'm going to run up and grab some fresh carpenter glue, wood glue, and I'm going to look for some beefier screws than what I have currently in my cabinet to help hold the weight. And then I'm going to get set up to attach all of that stuff. And then I believe the next step, another, I wouldn't say Bob Ross happy accident. When I bought these 2x6s to cut down, I thought, hey, I can save a little money. I'll get the pre-cut 92 and 5/8 or whatever they are instead of the 96. And in doing so, I shorted myself one piece of 2x6 that I need for one of the legs. So back to the store I go to pick up the stuff I had just mentioned plus that, and then I will be back. Hey guys, we're back. I got my side rails and the stringer supports mounted on there. I used some of my scrap cutoffs and trimmed this down to 2 inches tall and used some pretty beefy screws to put that together. These are construction lag screws. They're 3 inches, number 14s, and I'm pretty sure those aren't going to go anywhere. I have a tendency to build things kind of overbuild, but ain't gonna hurt. So anyway, the next step for me right now is to flip these over on their sides and figure out, get my jig set up so that I can do my bolts for the dowels, and then take my legs and position where I'm going to put my first stringer about 12 inches off the floor and get that drilled and start seeing what I could do to assemble this thing. Hopefully it starts taking some shape by the next time you see me. Okay, we're back. I got my jig set up to get these barrel nuts in here, these dowel nuts, and assuming this is my board that I'm attaching to for the headboard or the footboard, and the fact that I'm going to countersink using a Forstner bit that bolt so it's flush or just under flush to hide that bolt head, and then this nut is going to go down in that hole that it gets created. I got it all set up to where when that bolt goes in, It's just gonna get a good set of threads on it before I start pulling tight. That way I don't run out of thread. And then coming over here on this side, the jig, when you look at it and do some measuring on it, right at the edge is about an inch in from the end, just like where I put my line where I wanted the inch in from the end. So that lines up almost perfectly. And then I did 3/4 of an inch down for the 1.5 inch, so it's centered. And those will be my marks. So hopefully everything from this point on goes good. We'll try a couple of them and see how they line up on the legs, and be back in a minute. Alright everybody, we're back. One thing I learned about this whole project, I will never build anything else that involves those again. And the other lesson I learned is you get what you pay for. Buyer beware. Not going to say anything good or bad about it, other than I got them in. I had to fight every single one of them. So, but we got our rails done. I'm going to throw in the towel for tonight. It's like 30 or less degrees outside. I want to clean up. I will come back when I was able to get to the legs and the headboard and the footboard, and we'll go from there. Hey everybody, kind of back to the bunk bed here. Got the base of the full size mattress all put together, trying to figure out some ideas for the center of that so pillow and stuff don't fall through, but got a couple ideas. We'll see if I can make it happen. Everything came together with the right measurements. Got the right width across for the mattress. Trying to figure out whether or not, well, trying to figure out if I'm gonna use wood or some other type of slat down there to hold that mattress up. But not bad for coming home from work and throwing it together. Tomorrow night I'm going to work on the upper half, the twin size. I think I should be able to get the same amount accomplished tomorrow night. And once I get my big saw table turned on, after I'm done building stuff, I'll be able to assemble this bed, see what it looks like put together. But that's all I got for tonight. Thanks for watching. Hey everybody, we're back working on the bed. Just wanted to let you know that the brackets that I'm putting on here, I wanted to give you a little tip if you've never done anything like this before. That drill your pilot holes after you mark where your holes are going to go. Drill your pilot holes first, so that when you drill your big hole on the backside, you have a guide and you're not flopping around in a larger hole trying to get the Forstner bit to go in there and get centered. Made that mistake on my first board, but not the rest of them. Had to use the old school little mini drill press to fix that problem, but it worked out good. So just a heads up, pre-drill your pilot holes, Forstner bit the backside, then drill your bolt holes, and you should be good to go. We'll be back in a little bit. And we're back. Just a quick little overview. I got everything put together on the upper half, twin size. I need to take some filler after I get this sanded down. Filled those pocket holes up with the little blanks. Sand that down, get it all painted up. started the sanding process, but I did buy a small compact router and put the bead down this back rail. I actually like how it kind of rounded it over, so I think I'm going to do that around the whole entire frame, including like the top corners, just to take the edges off them, and finish sanding this up. Get all these black marks off them. Just as an example of how strong this frame is, if I grab up top and push the whole frame, this thing moves as one unit. It does not flex in either direction. So I'm pretty happy with the strength of it, considering it's replacing an old wobbly version of a metal tube bed. I'm taking the old metal tube bed crossbars, and I'm going to fit them in here to make the top bunk complete. And then I'm going to do probably some 2x6s and notch the edges so they sit over top of those blocks, and make the stringers for here on the lower part. I finally figured out what we're going to do with the inside of the headboard and the footboard. The old metal tubes from the original bed that this is replacing, I'm going to take my angle grinder and cut them to length, and then I'm going to take a small 1x6, or not a 1x6, but just a small board on the bottom and the top, drill the holes where they all need to line up, and then just kind of slide them down, slide the tubes down through them, and then anchor those in place so that it'll have a tubed end at both sides. Whole bed's going to get painted gray with black tubes. So I'm really anxious to see how this is going to turn out when it's complete. I'll give an update, or attach an update to this video as soon as I get those in place, get everything sanded down and all the corners rounded off. It's really coming together. I'm happy with it. Appreciate you coming back and watching. Hey everybody, we're back. We got freezing rain outside right now, and I got a heater in here trying to keep the garage warm. If it kicks on, I'll try to edit it out best I can. But for right now, we're going to do some routering and some more work on the bed. And hopefully we can speed lapse that so it doesn't take forever to watch it. Let's go. Watch when you plug it in. Okay, just wanted to show you something real quick, what I'm doing. If you can see right here, the router bit left just a little bit of a line, not much at all, but I've been taking my orbital sander and cleaning all that up. Get rid of it, so now we have nice rounded over edges, more finished look, smoother for painting. And that's my next step over the whole bed. So we'll skip that step in watching, but I'll come back when I'm done. And we're back again. Got all the corners rounded off, all the surfaces sanded. You don't realize how big a bunk bed is until you sand both sides of every board that's on this thing. But we're good. Next up, cutting the slats for the lower bottom part, and then I got to get some materials for up top because I'm doing that one a little bit different, and then inserting the tubes on the headboard and the footboard down below. And then painting right before. Hey everybody, we're back. I got the ladder on, I got the slats in the bottom, and as you can see the lines on the bottom of the ladder, I'm gonna trim that off in the front so it's straight up on both, so those aren't sticking out. All we need now is the support for the twin bed. I think I'm gonna throw some 1/2-inch plywood down on top of those since they're not spaced close together. That should be plenty to hold whatever mattress and person that gets on there. I did notch out the 2x4s on the bottom down there to kind of sit across, and then they're all screwed so they won't move all the way down. Hope you like what you've seen so far. I'm not the kind of person to ask for likes, so I'm not gonna. Just something that I pulled out of my head and put on paper and built it based on how I thought it should look. I encourage everyone that hasn't tried it to just give it a shot. You'll never know what you can do. I'll be back, obviously. Got more coming up. Talk to you later. Hey everybody. I guess you could stick a fork in it because it's done as far as construction goes. Got all the slats in, ladder built. I used 1/2-inch by 3/4 molding. Filled in the gaps with some little pieces of wood. Plenty of slats up top. Plenty of slats down bottom. Sorry about that. Hold on. So, took a little more wood, and I had a couple more trips back to Menards, or the box store, I guess. I'm really happy with it. It's extremely sturdy. I could grab that ladder and pull a whole bed around the garage if I wanted to. I got angle brackets underneath, plus screws in the ends. So I would trust myself climbing up that ladder, and I'm not exactly a small guy. But now to clean up my mess, get the sawdust out of here, and start primering it so I can paint it. Next video will be probably tomorrow after it's all set in place and my granddaughters can climb on it and show you how much they like it. As always, thanks for hanging in there this long, because I'm sure this is the longest video I've done so far. But it's also one of the bigger projects of the ones that I've done so far. Not counting the shed, but took me a couple hours, about 3 hours today on Saturday, all weekend last weekend, and probably about 2 to 3 hours per night each week to get this built. So I don't know, I'll have to figure out the time. And the full list of materials if anybody's interested in trying to duplicate this. I'll talk to you soon. I'd like to say thank you to everybody that watched this video.
realize I'm not a professional furniture builder, but it is something that I took from my head, put it on paper, and built it. It is rock solid. It'll last the girls a long time. I decided against taking video of the kids just for family reasons and not showing the little ones on, you know, YouTube. Um, Again, as always, thanks for watching. And if you care to like this or share it or whatever, that's fine. I appreciate that you took the time to watch this one. Hope you learned something. Hope it motivated you to get out and try something yourself. Learned a few lessons on this one. If I ever did it again, I would change a few things. I will admit I do need to learn to do some mortise and tenon stuff. I'll be practicing that with my saw once I get that completely set up. And it's always a learning process. Always looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting new tools and learning how to use those, and just get off that couch and get up there and do it. Thanks again. Have a great day.